variety of different colors, from oranges and pinks and greens and blues and mauves, all mixed at about the same value, though, the same lightness. And what I'm doing is painting different pathways of these colors, these big sweeping curves that come from the outside in towards the sun, and starting with the kind of darker, cooler colors of the outside of the painting, and those curves get kind of narrower and narrower as we get in towards the sun. And then doing the opposite, coming away from the sun, painting with the lightest, warmest colors out towards those cooler areas. And what that does is provides like an overall gradation as you move in closer to the sun, everything gets lighter and warmer. And that just really, really helps the glow. All of these various big curves of different colors, again, they just encourage your eye to move.
Hello, and welcome to this special edition of Becoming a Successful Artist with me, Tim Packer. I'm coming to you live today via YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And today is a special episode because it's going to be all and only about how to generate earnings from creating and selling online courses. And the reason that I'm doing this today is Kajabi, which is the platform that I use for my online courses. They're having a one-day only special offer where you get a 60-day free trial of their product. And they've never had that before. The biggest one I've ever seen before is a 30-day free trial. I think normally you get 2 weeks. And actually 60 days is long enough for you to actually create your course, put it all together, launch your Kajabi site, and actually start selling your courses before you even have to make that first payment. And this is just such a great opportunity. I thought this is worth me doing a really special live broadcast and really promoting this, because I also think this is a huge opportunity for anyone out there who actually is an artist who teaches. So if you've taught a workshop in the past or you currently teach workshops, please, please, please stay on here to the end of this episode because it literally could be life-changing. And so there's actually a link in the description to this video for that 60-day free trial. It's not available just to the public. If you just go to their site and get it, or to get Kajabi, you won't see this. It's only available through someone who's what's called a Kajabi partner, which I am, and with a link that I can give you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to talk about my experience with the last year, my first year of teaching online. And just for those of you who have been to a number of my live shows, you know, I like to know where you're coming from. So if you can just go into the comments and say hello and let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions today, if the questions are specifically about what I'm talking about at that time, Cameron, type them into the comments. Cameron will put them up and I'll deal with them. And then any other questions I'll deal with after I've kind of gone through my presentation. But again, today is just about creating online courses and selling online courses. I'll be doing my regular live broadcast tomorrow at 12:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's where I'll answer any questions you have about the business of being an artist. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, let me just give you a little bit of an intro to me. My name's Tim Packer. I've had a very successful art career that kind of was my second act in life. I spent 18 years in the Toronto Police Service, and at the age of 40 in the year 2000, I quit my job, cashed in my pension to chase that dream of being a full-time artist. And I've had a very, very successful career. To the point where over the last 10 years, my annual earnings have been over $200,000 from the sale of my artwork. And what happened to me is in 2019, I got very, very sick. I almost died a couple times. And at that point, I kind of realized that I'd achieved everything I really wanted as an artist. And what I wanted to do, if I got better and kind of came into the next phase of my life, what I wanted to do with my life was to spend spend my time sharing what I'd learned to help other artists who had that same dream to achieve their dreams and actually get to the point where they could earn a decent living as a full-time artist. And then I realized the only way that I could actually do that full-time was to create a successful business whereby I provided courses to share the knowledge that I have. So let's see who we have with us. Cameron, can you put up on the screen? So we've got Mike from Ottawa. Welcome, Mike. We got Jerry from Hamilton. And I guess that's it. We got a smaller crowd today because not everybody is obviously interested in learning and in earning income from doing online courses. And that's usually people who are already reasonably accomplished artists who are already out there offering workshops, whether it's in person or whether it's in Zoom or things like that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience with teaching. And that was when I first started trying to make my living as an artist. I actually taught a lot of workshops in person. First of all, at the little local art guild, and then gradually bigger and bigger organizations. But it reached a point for me where I just couldn't justify the time that I was spending teaching because I was making more money when I was standing in front of the easel painting. And I just could not charge enough money to make it worthwhile to go teach a class of 15 or 20 people. So I actually dropped teaching 100% around 2005 once my painting career took off. Now, in 2006, I actually had an experience with teaching online, and that was with a company by the name of Art Academy Live. And that was, some of you may know Sterling Edwards, who's a very accomplished artist and a really good friend of mine. He reached out to me about this company the plan was to actually offer workshops online and offer them live, interactive, back and forth with the teacher and the participants. So I actually flew down to North Carolina a number of times, filmed a bunch of courses, did some live things. But the problem we had in 2006 is it just wasn't time. First of all, the cost to be able to do that, to provide courses online and to provide live courses online was like out of this world. It was about $300,000 just to provide the cabling and all of the infrastructure needed to be able to broadcast live. And the other problem was that our target audience was just not ready yet. Most people were not competent and confident in the whole idea of actually learning online. So I went down over the course of about a year, probably about 4 or 5 times, filmed a number of courses, did some live things, but the whole thing just kind of fizzled because the world wasn't ready for it yet. Well, now fast forward to now, where COVID has it's speeded up the entire process where, 2.5 years ago, the number of people that actually would have been confident with kind of coming online and learning, whatever that was, it's got to be 10 or 20 times higher now, because what COVID has done is it has made everybody comfortable with the whole idea of interacting online. Grandparents had to go on if they wanted to see their grandkids and their kids. People from working at home had to get comfortable with this whole world of like what I'm doing now. What I'm doing now, basically just using the Wi-Fi in my house and using the camera on my computer, took over $250,000 of equipment back in 2006. And now I can do it just from my home using a very inexpensive program called StreamYard. So when I decided that I wanted to get into teaching, again, I looked at the whole idea of I could not make enough money teaching people in person to make it worth my while. The only way that it really made sense for me is if I could teach to huge groups of people. And more importantly, if I could create a course once, film the course, and then sell it over and over and over and over again. Because otherwise you're just trading your time for money. And I initially actually I gave a webinar on Zoom, a live webinar on the business of being an artist. And it was very, very successful. I think we charged $79 and we had 100 people, almost 100 people on there. So we made over $7,000. But I realized that wasn't the model that I really wanted to follow, because I wanted to create a business that was evergreen, because my son Cameron works for me and he's going to be taking it over. I wanted the business to be able to continue without me having to get on every 3 weeks or a month to teach a webinar. And I wanted to be able to start backing off from the business side of things too. And so I did a ton of research. And what I found was that Kajabi was the best option for doing this kind of a business. And actually, since I joined up with Kajabi, they've added a bunch more features. And the whole idea of Kajabi is that, again, for me, I create courses, I film them we've got a little studio set up in the basement. I film the course, we put it up on my website, and then we just sell it over and over and over again. And when people purchase the course on Kajabi, it's a lifetime course. So they can come back and watch it over and over and over, and it's never going to expire. So we launched the Tim Packer Art Academy just before Christmas in 2020. And I've got my analytics up there from that very first year. You can see in that very first year, we did $67,000, over $67,000 in earnings. And if you look at the bottom, you can see that now it's at, I don't have my glasses on, is that $78,000? That's how much money I brought in on my Kajabi website since we launched a year ago, just before Christmas. And that's with me having no experience kind of with this whole kind of online teaching thing. And also because I haven't taught for almost 20 years, it's not like I had a huge following of students either. All of my social media up until now has really been directed towards growing my list of clients that I could sell my artwork to. And so again, the reason that I'm so excited about doing this live presentation today is that this, I think, is the greatest opportunity that's ever been for artists who teach. All the research that I've done as well says that in your first year, usually it's a pretty slow start, and that in the second, third, and fourth years where you experience exponential growth. And there are people out there now offering online courses, like very, very simple online courses, where they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars a year. And that opportunity just never existed for us before. Now, let's talk a little bit about Kajabi. And again, the reason I'm doing this is that Kajabi is offering a 60-day free trial. It's only available today. It expires at 2 a.m. in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, on what's today? Tuesday? On Wednesday morning. So it's a very, very limited time offer, which is also why it's worth me doing this live webinar, because you either sign up today or you don't. But Kajabi is an all-in-one. So it's a platform where you would go, you actually create your website on Kajabi. You would upload your courses to Kajabi. Now, they have a ton of templates and they have a ton of videos and different things that work you through the process. We found it very, very easy to actually create our site. But they also have a number of other things that are just amazing. So if you wanted to run a paid subscription service, for example, where people pay, say $9 or $19 a month to have access to you, then you can do that. And I actually have that with my Becoming a Successful Artist course. People that take that, that's my big mastermind course. People that take that also then have access to my Hungry Artist community, where I get on every month or every 3 weeks and do a Zoom call, and I'll critique work, I'll answer questions, I'll offer coaching. And we actually had that free for life for the first 100 members, which we're past now. So now when people come on, they have to pay $19 a month if they want to be part of that. That's all kind of incorporated into Kajabi. You can also have a podcast from Kajabi. So you don't need to go to, where were we, Cameron? What platform are we on for our podcast? Buzzsprout. We were on Buzzsprout, paying so many dollars a month for that, to have a podcast that we never really got going with. We're actually going to be converting all of my live shows to podcasts, and that's going to be put up on Kajabi. You can also do individual coaching through Kajabi. So if you wanted to be in a situation where you're going to offer coaching to individuals, all of that can be done on Kajabi. They handle all of the payments, so it's all integrated. So you have to have a PayPal account and a Stripe account. But when someone goes online and purchases my course, they click buy. I don't have to do anything. It's all through Kajabi. They pay either via PayPal or Visa. I just get a notification that someone's purchased the course, the money goes into my account, and I don't have to do anything. And that's the beauty of all of this. The only thing that I have to do with my course is your basic customer service, which is if somebody has trouble logging onto their site or whatever, then we'll help them out. But all of this happens in the background. Once you've got your site set up and your course or courses set up, you don't really have to do anything when someone buys. And the beautiful thing about these courses, which are called digital products, is there's no cost. Like I've created a very successful business, and we've had years where we've made over $250,000 in selling my originals and selling my giclées. But every time we have a sale, if I sell a giclée, first of all, we have to print it. Then we have to take it to our framer to get stretched. Then we got to pick it up again. Then we've got to package it. And then we've got to ship it. And we've got to pay for all of that stuff. When you sell a digital product, there's no more cost. It doesn't cost me any more to sell 1,000 courses than to sell 2 courses. And so once you've made back your fee for actually using Kajabi, then everything you make is profit. And so I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the numbers that I've seen in the last year. So for mini courses, and I think for most of you that are going to be potentially doing this, you're probably looking at doing a mini course first, which is a course that's maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours long. It might have 3 or 4 different modules to it. One of my mini courses is my color and composition course, and it's about 2.5 hours long. We were selling it for the regular retail of $79, but we were offering a really special discount for $39 for a good part of the year. We made over $18,000 last year on that course alone. My big mastermind course, Becoming a Successful Artist, we sell that for either $595 or $695 on special discounts. We did over $25,000 in sales on that. And then the rest of the earnings came from 3 other mini courses that I have. One of them is on editing digital photos for artists. The other one is on the business of being an artist. That's that live webinar that I did on Zoom. We actually packaged that up as a course. We're selling that. And then I have a demonstration painting course, a mini course of me doing a painting called The Birches and Crimson Maples. And between all of those courses, like I say, we generated over $67,000 in earnings in the first year. And then you can see the lifetime earnings on the bottom. That's how much we've done since the end of the year going into this year. And so again, that 60-day trial, it starts today. There should be a link in the info. If any of you have trouble finding the link, and if you're interested in doing this, you can just email me at t.packer@rogers.com, and I will send you the link. Now, I also have some big news that I'm announcing for the very first time today. Many of you may be aware of Brooke Cormier, the young artist that I mentored going back like 5 years ago. We have a whole series on my YouTube channel of that first year and a half where I mentored her, and she's gone on to amazing success. Her work actually sells for about the same or more than mine now, depending on the piece. And she's got over 250,000 followers on social media. Brooke and I are going to be producing a course, an online course on using social media to grow your business. We just had a really long Zoom conversation yesterday about that and confirming this, and that we're ready to announce it. And actually, Brooke is signing up today with this 60-day link. And we actually plan on doing a pre-launch of the beta version of the course before her 60 days is up. Because I'm very sure she's going to be in profit mode already before she has her first payment that will come due at the end of the 60 days. And is there a question that came in there, Cameron? Yeah. When I began, was I concerned about the intense competition? There are a lot of artists selling courses. Not really, because the cost of entry is so low. And your audience is the world. So most of the artists that I see out there doing online teaching, they're all doing Zoom courses, which again, I studied this for several months before making the decision of which way I was going to go. And the problem with that is, so for example, if someone's doing a Zoom course, it's like it's only available on this date. You have to be there actually when the artist is teaching. And the beauty of Kajabi is that the course is there forever. People can take it whenever they want. They can pause it. They can take it at their own speed. They can go back and rewatch it. And there's always been a ton of artists out there teaching. The thing is that up until now, you only had access to the teachers who were teaching locally where you were. And it used to be a very expensive proposition too. Like for me to go teach a color and composition workshop for a weekend, say I used to charge about, I don't know, $289. And if somebody wanted to come and take that workshop and they didn't live right around me, they had to book vacation time. If they had to travel, they had to get their travel, they had to pay for a hotel, all of that stuff. Now they can just, on my special offer, get it for $49. And now they've got it for life. They can watch it whenever they want. So there's not a ton of artists out there right now that are doing this effectively. And that's the key. That's what I talked about, why this is such a great opportunity. I remember back in around 2006, someone just reached out to me and emailed me on my website and said, "Oh, you should do some YouTube videos, explaining how you paint and this other stuff." And I remember my mentality at that time was, no, I get paid when I teach. And it's like, why would I want to put my content up there for free when I'm charging people? And that's how I'm adding a little bit to my income. And I realize now that was one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my career, because if I had started diligently posting YouTube content back in 2005, back when no artists were really doing it, I'd have probably over 1 million followers now, and I'd be generating tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on YouTube ad revenue. But I missed out on that opportunity. And now I'm actually really, really focused on growing the YouTube, because it makes sense, because I'm getting into I'm making that transition where actually the teaching is the main focus, and YouTube and social media. Now my focus is on growing the audience of students, not the audience of collectors of my work. But this is that moment for teaching online. This is that moment where there's not a huge amount of competition for people who are offering online workshops, and in particular in this mode with the Kajabi. Most of the artists that I see out there offering workshops, they're doing the Zoom call, which is much more inconvenient for the client. And it's not as good of a business proposition, because you're trading your time for money. It's like it's like if I did 10 Zoom workshops this year, I could probably make $50,000 or $60,000. But the problem is, if I don't do a Zoom workshop next year, I'm not making any money. Whereas with this Kajabi model, with everything that I've got set up now, with all of the courses that I currently have on there, I expect to be able to increase my earnings each year going forward, even if I never created another course. And not only that, that creates a legacy for your family as well. If you look at the whole Bob Ross model, although he gave away the rights, so his family's not benefiting at all. But Bob Ross Inc. generates over $1 million a year based on the content that he created. And that's the whole idea of this with Kajabi, is you can create a number of courses, and then you can just continue to sell and market them kind of forever without you having to be on there on screen actually teaching. Now, we did this year with me over the course from between once the COVID allowed the golf courses to open up again, which I think was May, until November. I golfed 4 days a week. I only spent about an hour a week working. And we were still able to generate this kind of earnings. Back when I was painting, I had to go in the studio and paint 5 or 6 hours every day to be able to actually make a decent living. And this year, I'm actually going to be really, really focused on growing the exposure of the course, growing the number of sales and that type of thing. And again, I don't need to be in front of the camera teaching. Now, I'm just going to talk a little bit too about Kajabi also has within it. So again, I should tell you what I pay for a year. Where's my notes up here? I pay, I believe it's $3,800 for the entire package. That's a yearly purchase price. And I have the highest plan that you can get. So mine allows for multiple courses. I think I could even have 3 separate websites on here. I have a ton of different marketing things that I can be doing on here, but the basic plan that you will get, the plan that you can get through this link, you don't have to spend that much. But again, when you look at it, it's like $67,000 in earnings and $3,800 in expenses. And the other thing I like about Kajabi, now some of the other courses out there, they're not as expensive, but you pay a transaction fee. So it might be $1 or $2 for every course that you sell. I knew from the start I didn't want to be doing that because I want to be in the situation where I'm potentially selling 10 or 20 or 30,000 courses over the course of a year. Because remember, the entire world is your audience. And with Kajabi, it doesn't cost me any more money if I sell 10,000 courses than if I sell 10. And so that's why Kajabi, if you look at it, it might be a little more expensive kind of up front. But if you are hugely successful, you're going to actually profit a lot more. So they have what you get with Kajabi. You also get their email and marketing platform. Now, when I was talking to Brooke yesterday, she was telling me that she is on MailChimp, and I think they charge her $50 a month for MailChimp because she's over the $2,000. Well, you get an email marketing system with Kajabi that I think it's certainly better than Aweber, which is what I have for my fine art website where I sell my work. And with Kajabi, like I've been able in 1 year to build my email list on Kajabi to over 10,000 people. And that's targeted at people who are interested in learning about art and the business of being an artist. But you can create what's called a lead magnet. So for me, I'll just take you through the one marketing sequence that we did. We created a lead magnet with just a picture of me with in front of a few paintings in my studio, and the caption was, "Would you like to learn more about composition?" And there was text in there explaining about composition and saying, if you like, if you can get my PDF with my 10 most common compositional weaknesses that I see in aspiring artists. Once they click on that link to get that free PDF, that brings them into the Kajabi email marketing system, which we had to go in and set up. But again, it's very, very straightforward. But with that one click, what happens is automatically they're sent a PDF of my 10 most common compositional weaknesses. Then what happens is they get sent an email with another piece of valuable content about composition where I'm giving them another tip. And it also says to them, if you'd like, for the next 72 hours, you can purchase my color and composition course at a 50% discount. Now, if they actually click on that link and purchase, then the email sequence stops. If they don't, the next day they get another email with another little valuable tidbit about composition. It says, just want to remind you that you have 48 hours until that 50% offer expires. And then on the third day, they get a third email that says, just want to, again, gives them another little piece of valuable content, and then just reminds them that the offer to get that course at a 50% off expires at midnight. And again, in any part through that sequence, if they actually take the offer, it shuts it off automatically. Now, using that one lead magnet alone, that's what allowed us to, and so that lead magnet was on Facebook, it was on LinkedIn, it was on my Instagram, and we did for a while, we were actually paying a little bit to boost it, but that one lead magnet generated over 5,000 or 6,000 people signing up to my newsletter. And then again, we've sold, what did we make? We've made over $18,000 on that course. That was all as a result of that lead magnet campaign. And any of you that know anything about online marketing, usually you have to pay for a lead magnet to get people onto your email list. This was a lead magnet that, like I say, helped grow my email list from 0 to over 8,000. And it generated $18,000 over the course of the year. But that's not all that Kajabi has. You can also do what's called an auto webinar. And this is what gets into evergreen income generation. So I have a webinar that I've created, which is it's the 10 keys to selling your art. And in this webinar, I also talk about my mastermind course, and it gives them a limited time offer to purchase the course, I think, which regularly at $995, and people can get it for $695 if they act within 72 hours. Well, we have a lead magnet for that webinar, and when people go to the site, which is www.aspiringartist.ca, they're asked to put in their name and their email to watch the webinar. And then there's a new webinar starting every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, so all the time, that those lead magnets are out there bringing people into my ecosystem on Kajabi. The one is for the color and composition course, the mini course. The other one is for my Becoming a Successful Artist course. And then they watch the webinar, and then they get presented with this offer to buy the course at a discount. And as I said, on that big mastermind course, we've so far earned over $25,000 on people signing up for that. And all of this stuff is included in your monthly fee of Kajabi. And they are continually adding different features too. Now, if you were to do this 4 or 5 years ago, you would have needed about 5 different platforms that you would have had to be paying for to be able to do all this stuff. And then you would have to integrate it all together. I just cannot say enough about Kajabi. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, I have never been involved in an affiliate system with any other product. I get asked all the time, whether it be from brush manufacturers to paint manufacturers, whatever, like to promote their products, and they'll give me a royalty off each sale. I just really don't have any interest in doing that, because there's no one that I think is better than anyone else, except for this. With the research that I did, I believe this is the best option for artists long term. And also with my success, like the very first year that I tried to become an artist full time, I made about $13,000, and it took me about 4 years to get over 20,000, and I think it took me 7 years to get to the point where I was earning something like $67,000. I was able to do that from scratch with Kajabi. And as I said, with COVID, with what it has done to speed up that the whole world's kind of comfort with interacting online, I just think this is the greatest time ever to do this. And if you were considering that at some point, I think I'm going to get into this, this is the time. If you don't, again, it's going to be much more competitive in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 years, as other artists realize what a great opportunity this is. Now, I do have to mention, the full disclosure, like I say, this is an affiliate. So if you sign up via my link and get that 60-day free trial, then Kajabi will send me a royalty. And it does not impact your price, though. Whether you just go to Kajabi and sign up, or whether you go through my affiliate link, your costs are the same. The only thing is you cannot get this 60-day free trial just on your own. You need to go through my or some other artist's affiliate link. Do we have another question there, Ken?
Also, just one thing quick. So the basic Kajabi plan is $149 per month, and then if you get billed annually, it's $119 per month.
Okay, so Karen's telling me that the basic Kajabi plan is like $149 a month, and if you pay for that all at one shot, it works out to $114 a month. So, like I say, mine, I'm on the most expensive plan that Kajabi offers, because I intend to grow this to be a huge business. I want to have the same impact that Bob Ross had with beginner painters. I want to have that with people who are a little more serious painters, and particularly people who want to make their living from their art. Yeah, I don't know an awful lot about Skillshare, Mike. I know a lot of the programs. Here's what I found: anything to do with being an artist or teaching or whatever, if it's something where someone else can make money off you. So, and I think Skillshare, I'm not 100% sure, but is that one of those where they do everything and then you get a royalty based on the sale? And I know like Udemy is like that. But all of those kind of programs, which is the same as if publishing, if you go and deal with a big publisher, anything I've ever been involved in where people have approached me, they want to partner with me. It's always a situation where everybody wants to make more money than the artist. The artist makes less money than everyone else. And it's like, if you're successful, then people want a piece of that pie. The only thing that I can tell you is Parker Walbeck. If you want to see what the potential is for online sales, I suggest you Google Parker Walbeck. He has a course called Full-Time Filmmaker. His online courses are kind of targeted towards people who are trying to make their living as filmmakers. So whether it's doing wedding videos, whether it's doing small like commercial shoots, whatever, or even YouTubers. And he makes millions of dollars a year. He just switched onto Kajabi because there's actually a recent interview between Thinkific and Parker Walbeck where they talk about that, where he actually says Kajabi is the best platform for him. And he's been involved in this in 5 years and does, I don't know what, he does crazy numbers. He does like 10 or $20 million a year in revenue. Now, I'd already switched to Kajabi when I saw that interview. That just made me feel even more confident because he knows a lot more about this than me. And Teachable, same thing. I don't know, but all I know is from the research that I did, Kajabi had the most of all of the kind of features that I wanted and that I think are important. And then I also know Brendan Burchard. So some of you, if you haven't heard of Brendan Burchard, I think it's Burchard. He is like the top public speaker in the world. He has a ton of courses. He's like Tony Robbins, but like much more targeted towards like high-end professionals. Oprah and her team hired Brendan Burchard as a consultant and to coach them to increase their productivity. He is actually one of the founding users of Kajabi, and he is also involved in on a regular basis with, he's actually a part owner now because he bought into it, but with making sure that they are continually upgrading any features that come out, that because what often happens is a company will come out and they'll offer like a plugin that adds an even better thing. Kajabi has been amazing at, and when any of these things come up, they get their team on working to incorporate it into their biosphere. And the other thing I know too, some of those other programs, again, I don't know the specifics. I just know when I looked into it, a lot of them also charge you a transaction fee. And again, that may seem much more attractive at the beginning because you're not, and they're a cheaper kind of upfront cost per month. But if you're selling 100 courses a month and they're charging you $1.50 a transaction, that's $150 a month. That's another, what's that, $1,800 a year. And if you get to the point where you're selling thousands of courses, then that transaction fee really, really adds up. I like the idea that I know what my monthly fee is at Kajabi. Once I get past it, then it's all profit. And if I sell 10,000 courses, then it's all profit. It's not, again, it doesn't cost me more money to do this with the more courses that I sell. So for me, this just works out the best. And again, like I say, probably two of the best people that I've seen that are tops in the world at this whole online course thing, Parker Walbeck and Brendan Burchard, they use Kajabi. And again, I spent a year making the decision which platform I was going to go with. And just with all of the stuff, the pros and cons, I decided that Kajabi was best for me. Okay, do we have any other questions about anything about the whole online teaching? And the other thing that I should mention as well, like I say, Brooke and I are going to be in the process of actually creating her website. Her and I will be filming the course together. We're going to be launching the course, all that kind of stuff. So for those of you who actually do sign up via my link, and so I will know going on there if people have signed up for the free trial using my affiliate link, I'm going to do a couple of Zoom calls for free where I'll be available to answer your questions during this 60 days. So that, and the thing, it's going to be very fresh for me too, because Brooke and I are going to be going through this with her new course. So you got nothing to lose. Like I say, if you sign up, you sign up for the 60 days. if you end up not creating your course, which again, I think would be a big mistake. But if you end up creating your course and then after a month or two or whatever, like you decide not to, you can cancel at any time. And the whole idea too, in terms of how the affiliate program works for me from Kajabi, is I don't get a bonus when you sign up for this 60-day trial. I start getting a royalty from your monthly fees. So this only makes sense for me if people sign up and they are successful and continue to be Kajabi customers, which is why, like I say, I'm willing to get involved. For those of you who are really serious, two things. I know that this online teaching thing, since coming in here in the last year, this is going to change my life over the next few years. And I know it has the potential to change the life of other artists who teach and who want to offer online courses. So that's my whole reason about why I wanted to get into the teaching in the first place. But also, I'm only successful in terms of earning my royalties from Kajabi if you're successful, because if you pay for 1 month, I get a royalty. But if you cancel the next month, then I'm done. If you're on here for 20 years running a successful business on Kajabi, I will get a royalty every month, a percentage of your fees. And that's why it makes sense for me to kind of get involved. But most importantly, I would love to be having conversations with people a year or two from now where it's like, yeah, you know what? I did my first year and I did 30, 40, 50, $60,000 in earnings, and it's actually made a positive change in your life. So that's it. I am actually going to be doing another live broadcast at 4 p.m. So, I mean, I'm going to be covering a lot of the same stuff. So you guys probably don't want to see it. But if you have any friends who you think might be interested in this, please pass along the info that I'm going to be doing a live broadcast at 4. And you can also watch this on YouTube. But again, the offer is only valid until 2 a.m. And this is called the Kajabi offer, is the 22-2-22. That's why they decided to do this day, 22nd day of the second month of 2022. But on February 23rd at 2 a.m., this offer ends. Now, if you are watching the recorded version of this on YouTube, I always have an affiliate link that I can give that will give people an extended offer. And I think I always have the ability to give a 30-day free trial, which I think if you just go to Kajabi, you can get a 14-day free trial. So if you're watching the recorded version of this and you'd like to have access to my 30-day free trial, just hit me up, send me an email to t.packer@rogers.com, and I will send you an email with the link for the 30-day free trial. So for those of you who follow my regular show, Becoming a Successful Artist, I'll be doing a live broadcast tomorrow at 12:05 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Thank you for your time, and I will see you.